Good afternoon. Welcome to Collective Konversations, our roundtable series that brings community voices, business insights, and real-life issues together, featuring guest speakers, each session inspiring growth, connection, practical solutions for everyday life. Today, we have two guests, actually, two twins, set of twins, Taya and Jay Moore. We want to thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about your story, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm Taya. We're 24 years old, from Beckley, West Virginia. I'm currently working as a safe at home facilitator. I've been there for a little bit over a month now at Presley Ridge. I'm back in school to get my master's in social work.
And I'm Jay Moore. I'm from Beckley, West Virginia as well. I used to play basketball in West Virginia, and I'm still currently in college right here at West Virginia Tech. I coach Greater Beckley Christian School. I'm the assistant coach there, and I work for Green Services.
Okay, that's good.
Good. We're glad to have you here. So you're the first set of twins on the show. Don't know any of them, but still, that's a good thing. Now you said 24 years old both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. You're older.
I am
right?
by 1 minute.
Do you see a distinct difference in this? I mean, like I said, because you're only minutes older or
1 minute older.
1 minute older. Is there a difference? I mean, I'm gonna ask both of you.
I think there's a difference.
Tell us about it.
Well, I think there's like a gender difference anyways. I think girls are raised to be more mature.
Okay.
And just we develop a little bit more quickly mentally.
That's true.
So yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit more.
What do you think, sir?
I think the difference is I probably act a little bit more like my mom, and she acts more like
Yes.
my dad.
Yeah.
She's a little bit more outgoing and loud, and I'm more laid back. When she gets mad, you can really tell. When I get mad, you can really tell.
Yeah, growing up real close.
Uh-huh.
Growing up real close. How was that? I mean, was it kind of I don't know, because you got to think. I mean, when you grow up, of course, I mean, usually it's one the infant or whatever. You're the infant. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it's like for the love of your parents or whatever. You know what I mean? So when is this like my time, or when is it my time? You know what I mean? When is it Jay's time? When is it Taya's time? I mean, those type of things. You have to have patience, right?
Mm-hmm. I think our family did good at like anything I got, he got. As far as attention, I mean, we just did everything together. They really always said like, don't make a difference between us two, as far as like whether it be gift giving, time, the amount of effort they're putting into something that we have going on at school or whatever. They'll show up for both of us. So I don't think that there was a difference in that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think my grandma Robin, like even today, like for Christmas and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'll get a certain number of gifts, and she'll get the same exact amount of numbers. So they've always done really good at balancing it out.
And now Jordan, we have a little brother,
Right.
and it's the same with him. Like
Except my mom. I think my mom gives Jordan.
Jordan gets the most now. But
That's how it should be. You know how that is. So when you say like getting the same and things like that, but that's not always common. And what
Right.
getting the same is, but you being accepting of it is really kind of different at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a special person to be able to do that, really, to want to make sure you share, because that's what it is. I mean, really, and you all shared pretty much your whole life. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people, we don't have that. We're really sometimes not just singling anybody out, kind of selfish in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a twin, I bet you it's not something that, selfishness is kind of like, it's one of those things.
For sure.
Right. I mean, so tell me about, so growing up, that's how it was. But tell me about when you started to see kind of the differences in the two of you when it comes to that.
You want to go first?
Like difference in the two, like how
Like personality wise, and then just different things like that. Because even though, like I said before, you twins, of course, you're very close. But then now I think differently. That's like me and Lucy, right? She might like her, sugar in her coffee. I might like, equal. But then again, at the end of the day, it's different. But we got to accept each other for whatever we like.
Yeah, I would say at a young age we were pretty different from like that standpoint, because she was always more outgoing with stuff, and I kind of wasn't really that way. So from a young age, you could tell she was going to be the more probably social one and stuff like that. But
aggressor.
Yeah.
I don't agree. So I think as a child I was very quiet. I didn't get more like socially inclined until I was older. And then he was always in sports, basketball, like really popular. Like we were always in the same classroom as kids, and my mom did that on purpose because I was very shy.
Okay.
So I kind of was more dependent on him as far as for like a social comfort in a way. Like I was more reliant. I would say like in middle school to high school, that's when I kind of started to find my own personality.
And seeing so leaning on each other again, it's one of the things. Like I said before, so really having a brother and a sister, like growing up, is a big thing. Is to have that support. That's what you're saying, right? But definitely to be not saying exactly because of course you're fraternal twins, right?
Yeah.
So not exactly like each other, but definitely. And that's like I said, some people don't see that. And a lot of they're torn apart. You know how it is. Families torn apart in a way. But like I said, it takes a good support system, right? I mean, like you said, your grandma, your mom, good support system, your dad. And it takes that. And like I said, we kind of, I don't want to say we're steering away from that. I'm not saying that, but it is different. It is different as well because you're an only child, right? So tell us about that as far as it's a struggle, right?
What, to be only child?
Well, no, not that, but then because you have children, so it's kind of a struggle now to not so much raise them, but definitely because it's not equal. We say it's always equal, but it's never. The kids? Yeah, it's never.
Well,
right.
I feel like everybody has got their fair share.
Right.
Everybody had good lives, and nobody could complain. I had China at 21. My dad helped out a lot. She had a great life. That's how I feel. Jada, she had a great life. She was one with me. And now everybody is older and there's Legend.
Right.
And he's going to have
Legend is the favorite.
He's not the favorite.
He's the baby.
He's my son. And
right.
I just can't explain it, but I don't know. Everybody did okay.
But you can see some struggle. Would you have wanted some support when you were younger, as far as with like a sibling or like another peer that was your age?
I would want it.
Would you would want it?
Oh no! At a younger age?
Right.
Oh no! I was fine by myself. I was okay. Now, as older, I wish I would have had one.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But younger,
right?
I probably wouldn't want to share my dad like that. And I think I don't know if it would just happen. That would have been different. But I was fine by myself. I had friends. I was social. I'm outgoing. I was that kind of person. And in China, it was sort of like that when she came. Like she, like my dad, kind of.
But with you two, it's like an accountability partner, basically, right? You know what I mean? Like you said, did you even know that she was? I know you knew she was placed in the same class, but just some of the things that she was talking about, some of the struggles she had, you were helping her with that.
Yeah. I think it goes reverse too. I think she's helped me with a lot of stuff too, and I think she's still helping me now, whether she realizes it or not. Like, I don't necessarily have a wife or a girlfriend right now, but so every decision I make is necessarily trying to benefit her or my mom and stuff like that. So I think she plays still a big part in influencing me today.
And Jay, you're really responsible for your age. She is too. I have to say that the way they think and stuff, because I'm around them a lot. If I thought like I see how they think at this age, regardless if you could do still young stuff, but just being responsible and just just in a lot of different areas in your mind, like the way of thinking. I didn't think like that at 24. Right. Do you see what I'm saying? So you guys are doing really good and on the right track for your age. I want to tell you guys.
Again, I know. I think you all. Really, because I don't think you know it, but like I said, we were doing this. We scheduled to do this at the time we were doing it, but even to come 30 minutes early. I've never. She talked to you. I really didn't talk to you, but still came 30 minutes early, and I don't even know if she told you that. But that's to me. You think it doesn't mean it does mean a lot, because now one thing I ain't certain to see if you coming or anything, and we can also sit down and talk, because we didn't get to talk a little bit about what we were going to talk about, right? Just so we wouldn't box you in. But then again, it's like those things matter. Those little things matter, and that's the thing. Being young, and so. There's one thing about, being twins, we can move off of that, but also to be 24 and to do the things that you are doing, a lot of 24-year-olds aren't doing it. Not comparing, I'm not saying that, but it is a lot, and it's a lot with the upbringing as well.
Right.
And you start to see that, especially, you definitely, when you, like I said, starting to work for Presley Ridge, it's a different way of, not only that, it's a different way of life, something that we've never seen before. You can't even, I can tell you about it. Sure, your mom have mentioned things about it, but to see it with your own eyes is a way different. Even yourself, dealing with that. I mean, it's a way different.
Yeah, yes.
When you see it like that. I mean, and it's heartbreaking, but you got to control it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And at 24, I couldn't control it. I'm just gonna tell you that I couldn't control it as far as that. Not the way that I see you.
I wasn't even thinking about like my mindset, and I had a good upbringing. I think it is the individual and some of the choices that you make. And some people get off track, but to be working on your master's degree at 24, you're about to graduate before and start your stuff. You're doing really good. You're responsible with your money and finances the way you are. He is more like outdoorsy, hunting, fishing. He takes that stuff very seriously.
See.
Like he does in his basketball team and just even volunteering his time to those boys and stuff. He'd be for real serious about this.
So hunting. So that's so you like to hunt?
I'm
Yes.
going after this.
Yeah.
But you cheating today because it's kind of warm. Now that right or wrong, it's kind of warm.
I'll get out there in the cold. I was out in the freezing last week.
Putting
So
up
cold, my
cameras
hands and
and
stuff
all
was hurting.
stuff.
But
I mean, I've never hunted, but that's the part that I can't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you go with a group of people.
no, I go by
He
myself.
just started this hunting journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But the fishing.
But have you been an outdoorsman type of?
Yeah. I've always liked fishing a lot, but a lot of my friends introduced me to it last year, hunting. So
Okay.
I went last year, didn't kill anything, but saw a lot of deer. But like this year, I mean, it's just weird with hunting. Like sometimes you'll see a deer, sometimes
Right.
you'll go 6-7 trips, you won't see anything.
That's like fishing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you throw. I mean, I'm very impatient. So you have to be patient because I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
Because I could be there 15 minutes. If I get a bite, then I'm good to stay. But if I don't, I'm out.
Yeah, that's me.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, so it's just one of those things. I mean, but it takes, like I said, a patient person to do these things and be an outdoorsman. I'm not. I mean, like I said before, I didn't even strike you as being outdoorsman. Being playing basketball, different things like that. But it does you have to get away from those things as well, too, right?
You do, and I think hunting's a good escape for me. I was out there the other day, probably 8 hours, didn't see a thing, but I was a long time, talked to God out there, enjoyed the outdoors. So I just like being out there. I think if I kill a deer, it'll be a bonus, but if not, I just like going and just being out there. It's good.
So have you ever killed a deer yet?
I have not. I've had the opportunity, but I'm the type of guy. I don't want to just kill anything. If I'm gonna go, I want to go. I want to get a big one. If I end up not getting one because I passed little small ones, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I get that. I mean, that's good. Now, is there any hunting in your future or?
I'm gonna probably go with him. Just
Yeah.
like I'm the person I like to try everything once, so I'm gonna go like
That's
for the
good.
vibe, see if I like it, put the outfit on.
Taylor likes to travel. She
Yeah.
likes to look pretty. She cares about her appearance and hair
Understand.
and traveling
Understand.
and
That's nothing.
seeing new things and nice restaurants and aesthetics and stuff like that.
So with that being said, then you went to what college you go to?
I went to Hampton.
All right, which was a different experience, right?
It was totally different. It was HBCU. So like for me it was like a whole like cultural change, and that's honestly where I found a lot of myself in college, being from just a different setting and life experiences, my own personal experience during that time. But we went to Greater Beckley in middle school and high school. I was always the only black girl in the whole school. It was very small,
Right.
and so I think I had like a lot of things that I had to overcome with experiencing that, and yeah, like I just got to know myself a lot better in that setting.
So you meet a lot of different people from a lot of different places. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Different
weird.
countries,
It's
different
great. Yeah, well,
states.
see, for me, I mean, going to state was just a lot of different. Not so much countries, every now and then, but it was definitely different places.
Mhm.
Memphis, Florida,
New
and
York.
everybody seems to have their own style.
Mhm.
It's weird, it's like you know what I mean. And then they have us. They call us West Virginians. We talk
Yeah.
funny. We sound funny. That type of thing too.
Yeah.
So would that cause a problem when you first got there? Because now you're not there with anybody, right?
No.
You're not there with anybody. You're just by yourself down in Hampton, right?
Well, I'm here now.
Well, I'm saying down there when
When I was in school,
I
I was by myself. I mean, I think I just had a good college experience. I went to Hampton. It was very small, which was one of the reasons I chose that
Right.
HBCU over other ones. It was a private school, gated. It was so I think, and it was faith based.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, they don't call themselves a Christian school, but it's very much based as a Christian
So-
school.
so
we have a
you-
church on campus, and I feel like a lot of the kids that come through there have that same religious background. So I felt like everybody was very friendly from the beginning.
So I didn't know that. I really didn't.
Most
So
of them are sort of, because I remember you was having that conversation and you was like, most HBCUs have that kind of.
Yeah.
but basically you searched out a lot of different schools. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's a smart thing about it. I think, I don't know. I mean, I went to the first school that accepted me. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just did the application. They accepted me. I went there. And then never even went on the campus. And then like just sitting there on there. So that's a difference. And I was in Charleston, but it seemed like I was in like, I don't know.
Far away.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world. That's what I really want to work on is like getting kids connected to colleges, not even HBCU, but just college in general. Because I will say like, I found out about Howard first before Hampton. Okay. I went on a tour with Jay Taya Moore.
What'd you think about Howard?
It was too big. It was way too big. I knew I wanted to do HBCU after that, but I was like, I can't catch the little train thing and all that.
It's a little hectic down there.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it.
It's a little hectic down there. It's a little hectic down there,
but that experience going with her and like a bunch of people from the church, that really changed my life. So like I would like to start getting connected with that because I do feel like the schools in West Virginia don't really push that next step.
Right, because we usually, we went on college visits and it was great, but it was here. It was great, but it's just different.
It is.
I don't know, it's just different, especially if you go on homecoming, right? How was homecoming?
Lit.
I didn't go this year, but homecoming is always a great time. I'll be there next year.
It's different, ain't it? It's just a different. To me, like I said before, because I went to West Virginia State, which is HBCU school as well, but it's like, I don't know, it's just seeing a lot of people, because you have a lot of stigmas, right? People fighting or whatever, but it's everybody just coming together, having a good time, and talking about old times, but then also bringing in the new, as well. So, that's a great thing. Like I told you before, I didn't know a lot of connections about, Hampton, but that is great. And so Jay, tell me about your college experience.
I didn't necessarily have the best college experience. I think for a long time there, I thought I made the wrong decision with the school choice that I made and stuff like that. But we're looking at it now. I'm really grateful for the decision I made because, I'm saved now. And part of that was really a part of my last decision.
Well, that is. But see, it's never the way we want it to be, right? The plan we want. Yeah. And looking back, like I said before, that's pretty powerful. It really is. So you went to WVU, right?
Yeah, I went to WVU for a year. Well, I went on a lot of visits to places because I had a lot of offers coming out of high school and going to prep school and stuff like that. Right. But I ended up deciding to go to WVU, which I think was good for me because that was my dream school. That's right. And I think it was good for me to experience that. But it just didn't work out how I really wanted it to. But then I ended up going to a school in Illinois. Did enjoy it, but I think it was eye-opening for me to just see how I lived here and then how I lived there were two completely different things. So it made me appreciate living here a lot more. Good. And then I went to school in Ohio, and it was really life-changing for me. I didn't necessarily have the year I wanted there. I didn't have the success I wanted. It wasn't lack of effort or anything like that, but just wasn't the right situation for me. But I met a guy named Dave Perry. Okay. And I'll never forget him. He helped change my life with Christ and stuff like that. Really taught me the importance of reading my Bible and praying and just getting my life together. So looking back on it, I might not have worked out with basketball, but the bigger picture worked out with God. So that's
a blessing. Yeah, it is a blessing. So tell me this. So not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to tell you something. So other than finding Christ, which was the best thing you could have ever done, okay? Now you coach, all right? So let's say now you got Jay. You're coaching 6th grade Jay. He's getting ready to graduate. What would you tell him as far as his pursuit to go into a college career in basketball or college itself?
Yeah, I would tell kids now and myself now, just try to enjoy your younger years and not focus on what you think you should be doing or where you should be at, but just enjoy the moment right now. And I would say, it's going to be hard times with it, Right. Going from high school to college is a big transition. So you're going to have your struggles there. But, one thing about me is I didn't necessarily have the success that, I wanted to have or that maybe other people thought I should have, but I always worked really hard. Right. And I think that carries over into how I do stuff now, even with my job. When I'm on the job, they don't have to worry about anything. because they know I'm gonna show up. They know I'm not gonna be late. They know I'm gonna outwork the other people that's there. And I think a big part of that came from, I had the blessing of being around Brian Helton for a long time. And, I tell people this all the time. Everybody just sees the success he has now and stuff like that. But he's the hardest worker that I've ever met in my life. You'll never meet anybody that outworks him. And I think he really instilled that in me. And that's what I would tell younger people, is just no matter the situation that's around you, just continue to work hard and everything else will fall into place. You'll have success in other areas if you really work hard.
I think, when you saying that, support is what I hear, right? That you had. But I think that's a big thing when you go to college. I'm not saying you don't have support, but it's different. Yeah. That's why I said with both of you, it's very difficult when you like I said, you're in Hampton, somewhere you haven't, visited but hadn't been.
Right.
But then also WU, somewhere you visit but haven't, really been there alone, basically. You know what I mean? So having that support, like, and there are people out there like a Dave Perry, is that his name? Dave Perry, right? There's people out there like that. So to me, it's the link. Maybe not Dave Perry, but somebody like that, that you would link. But see, that's, to me, because when I went to college, it was totally different. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking for Dave Perry. I'm just telling you, I'm looking to party. I'm looking to do all these other things. That's what I'm telling you. That's what it is. And it was a detriment in a way, Don't get me wrong. But I learned from it. But that's the thing, getting somebody, definitely. And there's also places out there, right? It's like, because you said it was faith-based. So there was like some faith-based organizations on campus, right?
There's a church on campus. I was involved in the, it's not a youth group because everybody was grown, but young adults group through the church. I still follow their Instagram pages, and they still go live. I talked to a lot of them today. It was on campus.
Right. So those are just some of the things that are really paramount. So we got the college, we got the classes, we got the tutoring, we got all that, but also the other side of that.
Yeah, I think my situation was maybe a little different. I wasn't necessarily looking for Dave. I was partying and doing all that stuff, living how I wanted to live, but he really, his courage and his, outgoingness, he found me, and that's what he's there for at my old school in Ohio. He tries to reach out to young kids and make sure that they're living right and introduce them to Christ and stuff like that. And I think that's a important thing to do. I think we need more people like that around here. I just was reading it over here before we even started this, and I was thinking that at the house where Paul said, he said, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ." No. And I think that's part of Dave Perry's story. He doesn't care what you think about him. He doesn't care, what you might, have to say, but, he's going to do what he feels like is right, and that's introduce people to Christ. And I think we need more people like that around here. And I think when we have that, we'll see a big difference in our communities and our younger kids. That's why I highly recommend Greater Beckley to anybody. I when I was there, I wasn't necessarily doing the right thing or paying attention. Looking back, I probably wish I would have been. But, they really do a great job there talking about Christ and building you up the right way. And I think that's bigger than sports. I want every player to come and play Greater Beckley. Yes,
it is.
I think the school part really, really benefits you there. And having that faith-based education there, I think is really, really good. So I highly recommend Greater Beckley.
And that's fine. I think it's a great school too. Justin Arvon, I know him very well. Very, very, very nice guy. Really very great. When it comes to Hilton, Brian Hilton as well. Thing about you were saying, we have some young ambassadors. You too. Sitting in seat. That's why I said bringing you up here. When we do this, sometimes we wonder, what we up here to do? For you to say some things that you just said. This is what it's about. I'm older, right? You're younger. So to see you all say these things is very impactful on a younger person, really, and older too.
So
me
you're
too.
that guy that you said we need more of.
Exactly. And then it's something like you said, for not being ashamed. You're exactly right. It is that. And we shouldn't. But I think sometimes, and I was with a group of young men earlier. Sometimes we don't know where to fit. You know what I mean? We don't know where our fit is. Because if I say that, then I'm like, well, shoot, what I gotta be? No, you have to learn. You have to start. You have to grow. You know what I mean? That you said it. We all had missteps. Not the same ones. I'm not saying that we all had missteps though, but that's right. And that's the thing. It's just like and then when people see you though, to me, I know we're getting deep, but when people see you, that's the testimony. right? But it's only yours that you can tell. Just like Paul, although you could tell was the testimony that he had that God saved him. You know what I mean? And that was his first sermon. But those things that we talk about. So it's a great thing. And like I said, I think with me, it's I have a lot of, ideas in my mind as well. But sometimes the youth they have even better. I mean, the younger, they have even better. Some of the programs we had, and her daughter was involved with it. Some of these programs, they created those. I mean, I didn't create them; they created them. But I had enough sense enough. They're young. I mean, they know. You know what I mean? They created both of them. They created Camp Elevate and Lit Lab, which is one was a summer camp, and the other one is like a reading program as well. And they created them. It was a group of college kids that did that. But that's what it takes. People are willing to sit down at the table and, like I said, for help. You know what I mean? But people like myself, not me, but sort of say you're always thinking, I know more than you, but I don't know more than you. You know what I mean? I just experienced different things than you have. That's all, right? And if I do know more, maybe I should tell you so you wouldn't fall into the same traps that I fell into. And I think that's sometimes how, what we struggle with that, man. And, that's just something that we do. But what we always wrap it around somebody that goes to church, and then that's what it is. But it isn't. It's just that individual, and that's just the way I see it. It really is, because somebody would really have to be ready, right, to hear the things at Greater Beckley, right? I mean, even though it's going to be a growth type thing, but you all went there since you were a kid, like
middle school.
Middle school on? Okay, so that's the thing. So that's the thing. Do you think? I know how it went, but going to maybe another middle school, how you think that would work? I know you don't know. I mean, this is because you didn't do it, but I know you had friends there. Because not being funny, like her daughter, right? She goes to a different high school, great high school.
Jada.
Yeah, she goes to a great high school, but I see, but normally when I see her, just because where she lives, she be at the Woodrow stuff. And I'm just saying though, but she can kind of blend it in the same.
Yeah, she gets her education from there because it's where you need to go and have that hour a day to
Right.
Not drama, and I, protect myself also from
right,
that.
Of course.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. But her friends go, mostly of them go there, and that's fine.
So what do you all think?
I mean, that's how it was for me. I did have friends in school, but most of my friends did go to Woodrow, so I always went to their proms and homecomings.
Oh, okay.
And all of that type of stuff. And then even just like living in East Beckley versus going to school with kids who might live in like gated communities. So I feel like we always had like a balance. And I think a lot of people didn't really realize that. They just were like, oh, you go to private school, and but it's like we always had a balance.
Right.
We always had a balance.
And it does show when you go to school, when you go to college, right? That stuff does matter. That stuff, because you guys say, oh, well, hey,
Yeah, I can adjust.
Right, right, and then W as well. I mean, really, I know the stigma it has, party school and things like that as well. But we could get. There was nothing going on in the state, but you could make something go on. Right. If you really want to know, if you didn't want to do your work, you can come up with something. Not to do your work, that's just the way it was. Right. And then then the grades come, then you don't see that person. Then Lucy gone, and
like pack
Jay
up,
gone.
see ya.
They backed up, and then but I think that's a good thing about homecoming when they come back. But that's because college wasn't their road. Didn't mean it wasn't. It was the end of the road, though. You know what I mean? Right. And I started to see. Did you have any classmates that maybe didn't? But then they come back and they doing different. So it is about restoration and coming back. Sometimes a failure. Let's get it right. Sometimes a failure. I'm not saying they're a failure, but maybe the venture that they delved in was one. But that's okay, because the school's not for everybody.
Right.
And it just isn't.
Yeah, I'm highly encouraged. I think if you see like our generation and even the generation that's coming up behind us that's in high school, a lot of us are going to college and stuff now, a lot more than they used to. I think that's a big thing now. People are getting more educated, and I think we're just being more aware that, we do have the opportunity to go here. Because sometimes, people older than us didn't necessarily have that opportunity.
Right.
But us now, we're kind of able to have the opportunity. I think a lot of us are taking advantage of it as well.
So.
And even like things like this podcast, like even being able to like hear it on a mass audience, like reach a mass audience, like they might have had the opportunity and just didn't realize it.
Of course.
Because there was no conversation around it. And now it's everywhere.
I was talking to your mom about this when we were young. My dad worked in the mine all his life. He didn't know nothing about sending me to college. Okay? Me and your mom was talking about that. You heard about the little college uptown, that was it, whatever. I had friends that go, but I didn't really know. Had nobody set me down and say, hey, this is what we're doing. you guys have an advantage, I think. There's more to see, more you can see on the internet, get to look at stuff, get understanding. So I think it's really good that y'all guys are taking advantage of other stuff and getting it done, you know. So it's a different time, and y'all do have like an advantage in that area.
So with that being said, Jay, before we started, we talked about your profession now.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about you. I know you coach. I got that part, and we'll get into that here in a second. But what's the other things you do?
Well, I coach. I work for Greenleaf Services. It's a trucking company.
Okay.
And I also work for a construction company around here. And I'm also find houses and try to flip them sometimes.
Okay.
So with the help of Brian, I try to find him houses to flip and stuff like that, and get in on that. That's what I'm doing right now. I want to eventually break off and get my own trucking company and run that as well. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I think it'll work out, but yeah, and that's mainly what I'm doing.
So dispatching, that's what you say. So tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes. I think you work with a bunch of different drivers from a bunch of different places, and each one has different personalities. So you really got to have the balance of knowing who you're talking to, and making sure you're staying respectful even when these guys might not come in with the best attitude. So you really got to find a balance there. But I think it's been good for me, just working both sides, and just seeing how people come from different places, and the things that we might think are offensive, they might not think are offensive stuff, and just having the patience to really deal with them.
So tell me how you gonna take that to coaching, because that's kind of how it is too.
It is.
I mean, it's the same sort of way. With a lot of different personalities.
Yeah, luckily I've had the opportunity to have multiple options to grow in that area because I do coach. So I think a big thing with coaching is I've had coaches that I like the way they do things. I've had coaches that I don't necessarily like how they do things. So I've had the ability to see how I want to do stuff and how I don't want to do stuff. So with my guys is I try to be patient with them. I'm not really the yeller, which we do need a yeller, which I'll leave that to Arvon to do. But I think we all need a yeller. But I think it's a time and a place for that. But we need an encouraging coach, and we need somebody who's when coach tears you down a little bit, it's gonna build you back up.
That's right.
So it can't just be tear down, because then that'll make you lose your love for the game, and nobody wants that. So I think just having the balance of when to be strict and when not to be strict. Greater Beckley is very welcoming. I can go there anytime, even during school. I'll go check on them, just see how the grades are like, just go talk to them. So I think a big thing with being a coach is you want to be a coach that people enjoy you coming in the room and coming to practice. You don't want to make it where when you walk into practice, no one wants to be there.
Right.
Or the energy drops when you walk in. You want to be the guy where these guys want to play for you.
Of course.
And these guys want to be around you. And I think that'll help you, even off the court.
Of course.
I build relationships with them and their parents. I see guys' parents from last year, and it's still a lot of excitement on their face when they see me. And I think that's just because they know I put a lot of time into it, but I've also really care about their guys. And a lot of people, a lot of coaches, you can say you care about them, but you can't really say you care about somebody and tear them down every single day.
Yeah, you're right. But one thing that so you've been coaching for
this will be my second year.
2 years. So you will see this, right? I coached one time AAU, 1 year, helped Brian Neighbors. We've had him up here, and we've had a couple of coaches up here as well. It's a couple guys still see me and call me coach, and so you'll always be coach. I know your name is Jack. You'll always be. I'm Mr. Moore. They always gonna call you coach, so those lasting effects that they have, it's gonna it's gonna come out when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think it's weird hearing that sometimes too.
Job offer for a coach somewhere like somewhere?
I did, but I didn't want to take it. I really like being at Greater Beckley, and I really like the people of Beckley. And I'd say the same. But I went out of town the other day. I went down to Virginia and had a great trip. No, I went down to DC. Had a great trip. Loved everything about it. But on the way home, I'm just sitting there thinking, I really love West Virginia. There's no place I'd rather be.
He do.
I love the people.
That's
totally opposite.
I love the people of Beckley. I love Greater Beckley. I love coaching those guys. I love the program there. And I think they love me being around. So I'm not ready to move on from that yet. Right. Maybe one day. I don't really see myself coaching anywhere else because honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I really don't enjoy basketball that much if it's not Greater Beckley. I'm focusing on those guys. I like that basketball being played there. But just to watch an NBA game or college game, I don't have interest in it anymore.
Right.
Just being honest.
Really?
So, I don't know why, but
It comes. But you're talking about building relationships more, right? I mean, that's what you're talking about, building relationships more than anything. And I think that's a great thing. I mean, because it was a lasting effect on you, so why would you want to spread that? It's pretty much what it is. I mean, but you don't want to do this. You don't want to go the West Virginia route. Is that what you're saying? As far as now, you want to go, you want to explore.
I'm doing it now because it's a
course.
good. I will say it is a great way and great place to build your foundation. A lot of support. I mean, anywhere you come from, where your family is, that's good support.
Of course.
But yeah, after I get my master's, I do plan to relocate.
But so getting back to your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very. I mean, your master's. I mean, your undergrad was in.
It was in journalism, minor in psychology.
So that isn't what you're doing now, right? It's totally different, right?
A little. Well, the psychology part and the social work part.
Yeah, that part.
Coincide. Yeah. But yeah.
But
it's definitely different than journalism.
Right. I mean, a little bit. I don't know a lot about journalism. I really don't. It's a lot of writing.
A lot of writing, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this job's a lot of writing too.
Yeah. So
you got that part. I mean, down. I mean, but it hasn't been a smooth transition? Because I know you, like I said, I know your mom has, talked to you a little bit about it and things like that.
So when I graduated, my first job was at Head Start, where I worked as a family service worker. Basically, that's social work. You connect them to local resources. You're going into schools, making sure they have like additional support, whether that's the family or the kid. I loved that job. It was like the perfect job. So when I left, I was nervous. I'm like, I'm not going to find a boss as good as mine or this. But the transition from there to Presley Ridge literally has been perfect. Like, I have another great boss. I love all my coworkers. Now it's more like intensive. Like in my previous job, I would see the kids 3 times a year, but I had 84 kids on the caseload.
Gotcha, okay.
Now it's more like you have 8 to 10. You're seeing them weekly. Just more intensive, but I do love it. In different age group, which was intimidating at first because I'm 24. They might be 17 or 18.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So look, I actually, I worked at Presley. I mean, me and your mom talked about it, but I actually trained a 21-year-old to be a foster parent, and it was different.
Yeah.
It was very different. I mean, she was very good, but it was very different. I mean, like I said, for her, and then it was an age you had to, place someone, so it kind of got a little different when it came to that. But she's very mature though, and I think it takes that a person that even when you're young, you have to be kind of mature in order to. Because like I said, you gotta mask some of the things that you see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's heartbreaking. It's things that, like I said, they're not normal to us. Even whatever normal is to us, it's not normal. And that's like, and then go home and.
Yeah, and really not being like, you're in social work, you're going to be triggered. Like their whatever is going on might trigger something that you've gone through. So just taking time, like I'm super big on mental health. If I need a day, I'm taking a day. If I need a moment to step away and like come back to it, like just being vulnerable and open enough to say like I need a minute. And I do think that they give good support for that. So,
and that's a big thing you said, mental health. 24-year-olds, right? Speaking about mental health, but is that being in your age group? How do you think that's going as far as with mental health? Do you see people seeking out getting it, or maybe not?
Yeah, I think my age group is definitely, it's a conversation for sure. I think they're beginning to go to therapy, especially like within the Black community. Definitely an increase in the Black community going to therapy. But even just having conversations with like people my age who are raising kids, like they have those conversations we might not have had with our parents surrounding mental health. Yeah. So I think we're definitely like on a good path.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I don't talk to many 24-year-olds, but that's why I said that's you got to have that. I mean, no matter what color, you have to really have that mental health. I mean, if you needed the help that we need.
And, but mental health don't mean something's wrong with you. It could just mean that you want to. Successful people need to work on their mental health. It's not like you're crazy if you gotta go talk to a therapist.
I think that before that's what the stigma was. It's like and it's not. I mean, it's really not. I mean, it's just really just sort of
to go talk to somebody, maybe get some things off your chest, trying to see some different coping mechanisms on some things you might have issues with, and that's perfectly fine because it makes you healthy and more productive, in your family, in your everything around you. So it's not. it shouldn't be nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I learned that at Preston, even about medication, right? I mean,
Yeah.
people even felt that way, like, oh, medication, but no, it's a help for you. It just helps you,
it's needed.
right? It doesn't, but it never, it's no miracle drug, so
Right.
it doesn't do that. But it does help you process things a little differently if you need to. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and when it broke it down to me that way, I understood it a lot better. I learned a lot. I mean, like I said before, but I don't know how long you'll be there, but I learned a whole lot from Presley I said it to your mom when I was up here, but it's just something that, like I said, to see it on the other side, it's like, but I saw it, way more than, some, I'm sure you have too. It just clicks, what I mean? And I don't have any regrets, definitely not about working, but I wish I knew now what I knew then to tell my relatives some of the things that they're go to counseling, man. You don't have to drink this. Not
Right.
any
I know what you
water,
mean.
but you don't have to drink this stuff or do this. I know it'd be a kid saying it. That's another thing. How can that be? A kid telling an adult what they need to do. Before we couldn't talk anyway.
Right.
We had to sit down and be quiet.
Yes.
We couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But really, we knew everything because observing is how you learn a lot of
Yeah.
things instead of talking. Listening and learning. And I knew, I could tell you every problem that they never spoke to me about it. I could tell you like my relatives when I was a young kid because I was around them all the time. I could tell you all the things that was wrong. But now, like I said, that's the only. I don't have any regrets, but I wish I could do it.
Maybe they didn't have the resources.
What that's what I said.
To go get therapy, or even if they did, some people wouldn't have, but some people probably would have. But to have the insurance to pay for therapy,
Maybe
stuff,
because I didn't even know. I didn't even know until I was 12 years old what a psychologist was. I really didn't.
Right.
I never really knew.
Back then, it was like, oh, you.
I lived by one. I
Yeah.
lived by one,
Yeah.
really close. And I'm like, what are they doing in there? I didn't know. I really just didn't know. But my parents, we didn't really talk. They didn't really talk about
that kind of stuff. Well, I had a college professor, which was like in the beginning when I first started, and he was a professor, but he also was the CEO at FMRS, and he's retired now or whatever. But he said, I am the CEO of FMRS, but he taught this little class, and he said, if it wasn't for me getting on medication, I was thinking about committing suicide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was telling this class, he said, and it was like an antidepressant or something like that. He said that saved my life,
Mm-hmm.
and he was successful and, but depressed, and he said that, but I can't think what medicine it was, but it was a antidepressant, and he said it saved his life, and he's way better.
Right.
And he ended up retiring a couple years later from out there, but he's, it was just like, wow, you see somebody in this high-ranking position, and plus he teaches class on the side, and, shared that with us. People go through stuff, no matter how much money you got, no matter this, no matter that. Sometimes you need to go talk to somebody.
And that's it.
And it's okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's even being comfortable enough to talk about it is a big thing as well.
In front of a classroom of us
Right.
to tell us this,
Right,
At the time
exactly.
it didn't click like that, but now I remember that. It stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I think that, even when I was talking yesterday when we went on about reading, I struggled to read. I really did. And I never really told nobody. I just, I just try to work it out myself. But I don't ever want anybody to feel that way where they can't, even tell somebody something.
You know what? I did too when I was little, and my mom used to get so mad and throw the book and do crazy stuff. And I was in Ohio at the time. And I was like little, like maybe, I don't know if it was first grade. I can't remember, but I was little like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could not, I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, it wasn't my fault. I mean, I'm not sitting there,
So, me and my daughter China, and we're not ashamed of, we'll tell anybody, I can read and all that, but spelling, it'd be, I don't spell regular stuff, but it'd be a word that you just be like, it's like, I'd be like, da-da-da-da-da. Then it's like, I just can't go past that. For some reason, it's like a cutoff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then where I'm real strong in other stuff to where I'll fly past somebody that can do all of that stuff.
Well,
So I don't think,
you learn to critical think
I'm
very
good
quickly,
at that.
right? Because you have to, because
Yeah.
you got to figure it out. I mean, even when I was reading this I'm telling you, I pre-warned them, listen, it could come out a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
The words all over the place. I mean, even on this sheet right now I'm looking at, and that's, that's just in my mind how it is. My daughter's, a little worse, but she's getting better. But that's the thing. I mean, I think, having awareness out here about this. That's why I said this is why the platform's here, in order to get younger, older. You know what I mean?
But you might have that problem, but you see how you excelled in everything else and done all this stuff.
Right. I mean, those are the things
that can read top notch and working at the good with. I mean, just saying. So let's just, so
it is.
you might be not as strong in that area, but really strong in this area.
And still, the fact that you still do
Keep
it. Like, you
going.
don't stop
Right.
and just be like, oh, I'm not good at it. I'm not
But
doing
see,
like,
and
keep going.
and that's why I ask you, because that's what you're seeing now on your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people that have thought this all their life. You know what I mean? That they're not enough, or they haven't done it. They're just not, able to, and that's not the case.
Right.
And so it's just really kind of helping them along the way, right? Is that what it is? Helping them.
Support.
It's still right. And sometimes, unfortunately, things have happened, right? And now they're that's put to the forefront. But so now I'm in the midst of maybe losing my kid or whatever it may be. I don't know exactly all of it, but definitely getting the skills they need.
And Taya is really good at that because she's very intellectual. She's very smart. She's good with computers and all like we debate about stuff, but she's real booky. That's what I tell her. Like, you're booky. I'm street,
real life.
I'm realistic here, but she's booky. She's like, no, the this and that and that. She can tell you all this stuff.
So
but I like that about her.
We have debates.
Yeah, but she's really good at it, and then she'll make you look at some things like, oh, okay, And she's like, no, Lucy, but her trauma, it's her feelings, and all. But I feel like,
Yeah.
But I like that about her. She has those tools at this young age.
Right. See,
so this is really good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really believe it. Like, so for both of you, like with a child, it was like a kid, trying to reach his potential, just kind of in the way you talk to him.
Yeah.
But now they've heard today that you really are there for them. That's way different than just being there, just coach, or you know what I mean, or whatever, or wait till I can get a college to come see me, and then I can go on up there and coach. You know what I mean? It's a lot different. I mean, in the same way, I mean, with you definitely spending time on your craft, right? Mm-hmm. But tell me this, so a lot of book smarts, right? Mm-hmm. That's what she said. You didn't say that.
She does. She's good with talking about.
Tell me how we mix the book with the actual real life things. On the fly, because that's what you have to do.
Yeah, right, well, I think I'm good at both.
Okay, good.
Life experiences have taught me how to survive in a lot of different dynamics. I think the book smart is what keeps me grounded, like religion and book smart. Like when you are able to understand why somebody has done something or why they're struggling and how it's impacted you, it changes your perspective. Right. And I think that is something that I want to push out, because when you understand why and you realize it's not something that you've done or a result of you, it changes everything.
And it does.
I still get upset. She was like, Lucy, but
me too.
I'd be like,
you can still get upset. You do still get upset.
I'd be like, where is the? But I don't know.
It's one of those things. I mean, but you got to think. I mean, when you said something about that, I always think about Esau and Jacob. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the family that they grew up in. Mm-hmm. It definitely was an idea, and a lot, and there were a lot of us about lying and deceiving people, right? Especially his mom's side of the family, right? I mean, but he had to break that. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about generational, we ain't got to get into that, but still, that keep having that go on, right? Is something that it has to break. Mm-hmm. Somebody has to break these things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And it takes a person that that can come in there with, like I said, with some smarts, but also, real life things, and they also can get, the word, and it's different for everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like a kid, that you're coaching. It's going to be different for everybody to see what clicks, right?
Yeah, I think we got to have more patience with younger people, and especially kids and stuff too, because I'll never forget when I was younger, I wasn't necessarily catching on to reading and stuff like that well. And the doctors told me I actually needed medication because, they didn't think I was developing the way I should. But my mom had patience with me and took the time and spent the time. And now I feel like I'm capable of doing those things. The areas they said I was weak in, it turns out I really wasn't weak in them. I just need to spend more time. And we got to tell our younger people it's okay if you are, behind in this area. You just got to work it a little bit, and we got to be willing to work with them, because a lot of times we just push it to the side, and then they never really catch up, and then they feel like they can't catch up. So I think that was big for me, is my mom and everybody spending time with me and making sure I caught on to these things, because now they might disagree, but I think I turned out pretty okay with reading and stuff like that.
Of course,
so I think that's a big part. It's just having the patience and spending the time with them.
Because you're right. I mean, you all are young, so you probably never seen Coming to America before. But
at least I've seen it. He hasn't. I know he hasn't.
You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it.
My memory is actually very, very bad. So.
but so I was referencing that when with the gentleman. for some gentlemen today. But remember when he first got his job at the restaurant, and they asked him could he mop,
Yeah.
And
and he said he could,
Yeah.
but he really couldn't. But they were patient, and he didn't make it a big scene. And he said, "Just just lose the bucket."
Right.
You know what I mean, and so that type of patience, right? Because you can only imagine, I can mop. That's what. But we don't. Sometimes we skip that. We skip those things, and we don't know. If nobody taught us, how do we know? He didn't. He never, was taught these things. People mop for him.
I don't think I had the equipment, the right person around me for that stuff at the time in my life with my mom and living there and just stuff like that. But what I've done is compensated, picked up my strengths. And some people just not gonna be good at something, and that's okay. You know what I mean? You just might not be.
Right.
But if you have good critical thinking skills, like you talked about earlier, as you get older, what I'm not good at, I know somebody else that is. That's why I think a good team is good to have a good team.
Yeah, everybody.
Because everybody has strengths in different ways and different, just everything. And if you pull a good team together, you're gonna get further with a team with good different qualities and different stuff. And pull it together, you'll be just fine.
That's what we're doing today.
But some people don't do
but
that.
That's what we're all
they
doing
want to be
today.
Selfish.
Yeah,
Right.
but when you got a good team, because no matter how smart, it's gonna be something that you're not good at or don't have that ability to do that somebody could do. So I'm the type of person, I like to stay in my lane. I don't want to jump over into something that I'm really not that good in, and I know that.
Right. Right.
You know
I
what I
mean, to
mean?
find the resources. You said just find the resources.
I know somebody that's good in it.
If
If
that's
you ever need a resource, call Lucy. She's got all the resources.
And that's a great thing, though. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, it takes that,
Because that's my strength, though.
Yeah.
No, it takes that.
Connecting people with what they need.
I was joking about
I
it.
need to start a business and resources.
See, I was joking about it, but that's I mean, that is one. I mean, that is a thing you can have. There was a guest on there about a week ago, and she was a designer, basically, and I told her, but that's in my mind, and I was just talking about this room, told her grade it, whatever. She laughed, whatever. But in my mind, I wasn't really worried about about how this room looked as far as for show wise. But I know it needs to be presented in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
But after that, I was really more focused on you all. You know what I mean? Because while I can't design you, but I know I can put you in that seat and you can design yourself by the things you speak of. Just like today. I mean, we didn't know what we were going to really speak about, but that's the thing, But it's something for everybody, right? I mean, to present a picture, and it's just like that, in today's society, it has to look right or whatever, you know what I mean, before somebody really would consume it or whatever the case may be. But it does, you have to give things a try. I think it's a lot of it as well. That's what you all done, giving things a try. With that being said, before we finish, tell me what else you're going to try. I know we already talked a little bit about moving, a little bit about trucking, and maybe owning a business, right? But it's going to take a while, right? But it seems like with me, kind of like Karate Kid type thing. I mean, like you learning different little things that can be, gelled into one. But when would you know when the time is right?
Well, I think right now I'm just in the phase of more like saving money and just making sure I have the money to do it and get fully into it because it's expensive to start. I mean, but I would say my ultimate goal wouldn't even be the trucking company. I think when I get older, and I think people might call it a stretch, I really want and have a desire to be president one day.
Okay.
So I think, right now I'm just working on myself, working on getting myself established is an important thing. Because, I mean, reality is you can't really do much without money. So making sure, you have a good foundation there and just studying it. And people might say I'm weird, but it's just how I am. I study that stuff all day.
That's good.
And even with like hunting and stuff, that's just how I am. I study it. People say you just need to go kill anything. But me, I'm like, well, why can't I go kill the biggest one? I have the ability to do it.
Right.
I have
you're right.
the brains to do it. You just got to do it. So I think, president to me doesn't seem like a stretch. I think it's very capable for me to do. Will it ever happen? I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna try to do it.
You learned a lot now, right? Two alums, right?
Look at New York, the little what's his name? He won. He didn't have.
Reedy.
Yeah, he didn't know. We had 1% of people not too long ago thinking whatever, and he won the governor.
Yeah, Mr. Reedy and Mr. Hilton, right?
Yeah,
Senator Hilton, right? So I mean, you learned a lot from them as well.
Yeah, I think seeing his story was really encouraging to me too. I think people look at him, they might say skin color and privilege and stuff like that, but if they really read his story, he came from nothing. Probably a lot less than
what we
us
have.
had. And he really, just worked hard his whole life, took advantage of his opportunities, stayed out of trouble, and the right things happened to him. And I think it wasn't by accident.
Right.
You know, it was not luck. He put in a lot of time for the stuff he has now.
Yeah.
And I think really seeing him do that made me realize, you know, I have the ability to do anything I put my mind to if I work hard at it. And luckily, God's blessed me with the brains to do it,
That's it.
the desire to do it, work ethic to do it. So I think it's not crazy for me to dream that.
Okay.
And yourself?
Short-term goal, of course, is to graduate college. Long-term goal would just to be, I want to be a child behavioral therapist. So just taking everything that I'm doing now, really learning kids and the different dynamics. A lot of kids are different from COVID. Like their social
Right.
skills and developments are way different. So just trying to really understand them and like being vulnerable enough to say like I need to learn different things in this area and utilizing the skills that I do already have.
So that'd be therapist, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I mean, because I think that's like I said before, you're gonna step into that therapy realm.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, like I said, I know a few now. That do. I'm actually talking to somebody about some gambling things to come on here and speak about because I think it's a real big problem.
Right.
Gambling is a real big problem, but that's the thing. Willing to sit down and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Kids willing to sit down and talk about it. I've done some therapy with some kids as well. It's tough in a way,
Yes.
but definitely, it's something that's needed though, really, for them to help navigate through some of the problems that they're having.
Right.
And so it's definitely needed. It's definitely something that, like I said before, hopefully others, kind of, if they see something wrong, it's okay, and I think that's one of the things about parenting. I'm not a perfect parent, and I have to understand it. I need to definitely come up on the skills of the safety first, right? But I also need the other things as well, speaking general, different things like that.
Me too.
That's right. That's just what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think that's the self-evaluation that you have to have,
Yeah.
before it gets, really, or guess what? Now you coming in there telling me, I'm 53, how you going to do 24, you're going to tell me how?
Mm-hmm.
But listen, we already identified there's a problem because I wouldn't be here if not. Not being smart, I'm telling you. But if you listen to me, maybe you can either regain custody, get your kid, or things like that.
Right.
It goes a lot different then. That's what it was for me.
Meeting each other with mutual respect, right?
Exactly. Right, really. Because you have kids, no. But listen to me. This is what we're going to do. Right. So like I said before, I think I commend both of you for coming in. Like I said before, it's been incredible. It always is, but it definitely is. Like I said before, now just knowing younger people that really really willing to come on and speak and then talk about different things. But
I want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I think you guys are going to do great in life.
Thank you.
I know you guys personally, and you guys are on the right track, and just stay doing what you're doing. You're going to be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For real.
Right, and I think being able to help others. I think that's the biggest thing. Really. And I know we talked today about, even us. Because I'm not calling her old, I am, but even us, it never stops. And that's the thing. It never stops, especially with your pursuit, with our, walk with God. And whoever finds that, that's a blessing. But it's sometimes why we say that today, you may be doing something totally different. If you led that way. And that's just something, but we got to be willing in order to accept that as well. Me too. That's exactly. So I think that's, one of the things we talk about as well. But like I said, I thank you again for coming. I thank you for, setting this up. Really, I do. Hopefully I will see you again on Chit Chat, especially on Chit Chat later on the month. Hopefully we'll see you again. And then, like I said before, Jay, I know I'll see you around.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. And like I said before, anything we could do, just let us know. If you could, like I said before, if we need some help on anything, just let us know as well.
Yes, sir.
But this will end Collective Konversations. I want to thank you all for joining us. Please like, share, follow on Facebook and YouTube as well. Trying to get our YouTube followers up so we can go live with this, so it would be a big help. Thank you.